Crawford, pound for pound superstar, is in the studio with us. Terence, who do you think won the first fight between these two? I thought it was close, but...
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the upcoming undisputed light heavyweight world title fight between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. This is my prediction video. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. And if you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe? A lot of you guys are watching my content and might not be aware that you haven't hit the subscribe button yet. Also, like this video, as well as hit that bell button, the notifications button. What that'll allow me to do is every time I create something new, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank guys, we are finally here. We are less than 24 hours away from the massive card in Saudi Arabia. All week, we've been documenting the main event, the 5 fights, the big ones. I've been giving you guys my breakdowns and my predictions, but this is the crown jewel of the card, the champion Beterbiev versus the challenger Bivol. We know both of these guys just fought last October. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down these fighters. We're going to remind you guys who they are. I'm going to briefly go over some statistics from their last fight. We'll talk about that decision. I'm going to introduce a new segment to the show today, our YouTube fan poll results. Last night, I put up a question to you guys about who do you think is going to win. So we're going to go over those statistics and feature some of the top comments from that post. And stay tuned to the end of the video because this is where we make our money and I tell you where to put yours. All right, guys, let's get into this. If you can't tell, I'm super excited. Boxing is about the best fighters fighting the best, and nothing can be more truer than this matchup at light heavyweight. We know that the champion is Artur Beterbiev. We know that going into that fight last October, he had a streak that was broken. He had a 100% knockout to win ratio, which got snapped. He did win, but he won by decision. We had a second streak that got broken. Dmitry Bivol, the challenger, went into that fight undefeated, and we know that his O had to go. So somebody is either gonna get revenge or somebody is gonna get the same results. And this is exactly what I asked you guys on the YouTube question. Will we hear and new, or will we hear and still? What I want to do is kind of remind everybody what each fighter has been up to. Now let's look at Dmitry Bivol. Bivol's 23-1 with 12 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 52% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 3 in the world at light heavyweight. The 34-year-old is an orthodox fighter standing at 6 foot tall with a 72-inch reach. He fought Beterbiev last October. Beterbiev was 20-0. Bivol had his only loss, majority decision in the 12th. Zina, 22-0, knockout in the 6th. Lyndon Arthur, 23-1 UD in the 12th. Gilberto Ramirez, 44-0 UD in the 12th. So we know that Dmitry Bivol is one of the best in the world. He has a very unique style. The guy is really hard to prep for. So when you're thinking about a fight with Bivol, especially against a guy who's already seen him with Beterbiev, that you would think would go in the favor of the champion. He already fought 12 rounds against Bivol. He got the victory. So you would think there'd be more stress on Bivol's camp in terms of doing something differently. That might not be the case though. Bivol, when you look at that first fight, the first half of the fight, I always tell people that this was a tale of two fights. I wasn't totally upset with the fight going in Beterbiev's favor in which it did, but I feel Bivol has a lot to learn from that fight when he just looks at the statistics. We'll get to those in a second. Before we do that, let's open up a little bit about Artur Beterbiev. Guys, Beterbiev is 21-0 with 20 knockouts. He's the #1 ranked light heavyweight in the world, and he is the undisputed champion at light heavyweight. He carries into the ring a 95% career knockout to win ratio. The 40-year-old orthodox fighter stands at 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. He last fought Bivol in October, 23-0, majority decision in the 12th. Callum Smith, 29-1, knockout in the 7th. Yard, 23-2, knockout in the 8th. Joe Smith Jr., 28-3, knockout in the 2nd. Artur Beterbiev is a knockout artist. Artur Beterbiev is a puncher. This is a classic matchup of boxer versus puncher. When we talked about the statistics a little bit ago about that last fight, when you look at the punch stats, Dmitry Bivol was controlling those first few rounds. Some would say the first half of the fight. He was out landing Beterbiev. Even the total punch stats, when you look at them, Bivol had a higher percentage of power shots landed in the first half of the fight, but as the fight got into the mid to later rounds, Beterbiev started turning the tide. And this is what I meant, that Bivol probably has more to learn from that fight regarding his tempo and pace. The first 6 rounds he looked great, especially with his accuracy. Beterbiev out-threw Bivol, but Bivol landed more. Now, as the fight went on, you started seeing Bivol's pace wane a little bit, and Beterbiev started getting his shots off and catching up a little bit with those percentage numbers, and he ended up turning the tide with the most important number, the power shots, in regards to Beterbiev's style. Now, when you think about this upcoming fight, you got to think about that clash of styles. Who has more to learn from? You have one who's 40, you have one who's 34. They both just had birthdays. Now, with the puncher, this guy's undefeated, and the psychology behind Beterbiev, he's never lost. So one would think he really doesn't have to do anything differently. He could just go about his business per normal. He's done it 21 times, and 20 times he's been successful. So the mindset of this guy is like, let me just stick to the game plan. Let me land my power shots against Bivol. He probably wants to add a little bit higher of a work rate in the beginning of the fight and let me get the victory again. Now with Bivol, this guy has a decision to make. The one thing he has to make is stand in the pocket a little bit more and trade a little bit more, especially in the mid to later rounds. He did that. When you look at the stats, it's more dangerous to land your power shots against a big puncher early. But Bivol did that, which is interesting. He didn't wait to the mid to later rounds. Those rounds were all owned by Beterbiev, and Beterbiev really didn't land anything too aggressively to get Bivol out of there. So from a psychological perspective, Bivol might think, hey, look, I could stay in the pocket with this guy early. His power is decent, but I'm not in any sort of trouble. So if he truly believes that, I really expect Bivol to have a little bit higher output throughout the rest of the fight and maybe pace himself a little bit more regarding the output in the early half of the fight, because statistics don't lie, and his output definitely faded as that fight went on. Now let's look at the odds Las Vegas has on this fight. If you take just the money line, Artur Beterbiev is the favorite. $100 gets you 81, and Dmitry Bivol is the slight underdog. $100 gets you a little over 200 back. So going into this fight, Beterbiev is the favorite. He is the champion. If you remember last fight, it was flip-flopped. Even though they were both champions and Beterbiev was the puncher, they actually had Bivol as the slight favorite. So those have flip-flopped. Now, when you look at the props to take, if you don't want to do the money line, we'll go over that real quick. If you take Beterbiev by points or decision, $100 gets you 360 back. If you take Beterbiev by knockout, $100 gets you 325 back. The draw is 15 to 1. $100 will get you 1,500. If you take Bivol to win by points or decision, $100 gets you 240 back. And Bivol by knockout, 15 to 1. $100 gets you 1,500 back. Let's think about what the scorecards read last time. Of the 3 judges, one of those judges scored it a draw. So right now the draw is at 15 to 1. The other 2 judges gave it to Beterbiev, 115 to 113. So he wins a very slight decision. Now, you'd have to think Beterbiev is the knockout artist. Bivol is the guy who's going to win on points. He's the boxer. So this is why the odds are Bivol 15 to 1 by knockout. They're saying he's more likely to win, but he's more likely to win by decision. Now, before I tell you who I'm going with, who I want you to put your money on, I want to go over our YouTube poll results. I put the question up last night, and those results are as follows. Of the 21,000 subs on our page, 500 people voted, so I say thank you. And I just simply asked, and still or and new, and 55% of those 505 votes feel that Artur Beterbiev is going to leave the champion and still, and 45% believe Dmitry Bivol is going to get all of the belts. Some of the comments I want to feature, one by KPAC2, CAPAC2. He always comments and supports the channel, so shout out to you. He says, hopefully Bivol wins if he can make the right tactical adjustments. In my opinion, he needed 2 to 3 rounds of consistent boxing to pull out the W. Too much going into the shell defense. Next feature comment is Robbie Digital. Shout out to you. You're always supportive as well. I thought Bivol edged him out last time. The rounds were so close. I understand why it went the other way. Still, I have Bivol again to push for the rubber match. So both KPAC2, Robbie Digital like Bivol's chances going into this rematch. We'll read you a couple more. Apollo Mateo Kyrie. Bivol outboxes him this time more convincingly with tons of outside work. And Mr. Show 83. I like both. They both seem like really good people. I just hope they make it out safely, but kudos to both for willing to walk through the fire. I like where your head's at, Mr. Shaw. I like when people show empathy towards the fighters. So YouTube says 55% Beterbiev, 45% Bivol. Here's my prediction, guys. I think that these two men are tailor-made for a trilogy. I think that Bivol has the higher ceiling regarding adjustments to make from the first fight, and I like Dmitry Bivol to win by decision and set up a much anticipated trilogy between Beterbiev and Bivol at light heavyweight. I just think Bivol is going to pace himself a little bit differently. I think he's going to strategize and plan for the mid to later rounds a bit differently. I think he's going to continue to box beautifully, but take actually a little bit more risks in those mid to later rounds to get the respect of Beterbiev. And I just think for the simple fact that Beterbiev won a close decision psychologically, we might not see too much of a difference of his game plan, giving Bivol the tactical edge to make those adjustments. Only time will tell. This is not an echo chamber. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. Are we gonna hear and still or and new?